Hello, SDC artists. I thought I'd take a quick minute to record a video on how I would approach doing your What's for Breakfast assignment. So this morning I took a picture of my cereal bowl, got a bowl of cereal with some blueberries on it, and obviously an essential this time is that mug of coffee. I'm going to start by outlining the shapes. Then I'm going to get into adding a little bit of shadows, and I'll talk to you about how I approach shadows. So with that, let's get into this artwork. So I'm going to start by drawing that first shape. When I'm drawing that first shape, it's all about the trying to get the curve of the top of the bowl and the shape, the symmetry of the bottom. So when you're looking at drawing any sort of bowl or mug or any cylinder form, it is not a flat top, and it's not a perfectly round top. It's what's called a smooshed circle or an ellipse. So right now I'm going to focus on just getting those two ellipses, the ellipse for the mug and the ellipse for the bowl. I think right around now I'm noticing I put the mug in the wrong spot. It's too far to the left, so I'm going to just nudge it over more in relation to the bowl. This way there's a little bit more overlap here. That's something that you get better with at detecting with time, is like where objects are in relation to each other, or what are the proportions in relation to each other. So now as I'm doing this outlining phase, you're going to notice I'm using very, very, very light pencil marks. I am not pressing very hard. I'm kind of just lightly doing an outline for the main shapes, a couple of the blueberries inside, and I'm even going to do a light outline for where the shadows are underneath. Once I have that light outline, then I'm going to turn my pencil sideways and start to add the dark shadows first. So I'm really just going to focus on where is the darkest, darkest, darkest shadow. And in this instance, the darkest shadows are underneath both the bowl and the mug. And then also like inside the mug. And then last but not least, behind the bowl. Don't forget about the negative space in your artwork. Sometimes shading is all about actually not shading the object, but shading around the object. I'm going to right now lay in a few of these mid-tone shadows inside the bowl. You're going to notice I'm using a lot of these curved pencil marks. If your object is round, you want to be using round lines to shade it and round shadows to shade it. If your object is flat, then you want to use flat lines to shade. But whenever it's round, you want to be trying to kind of show that curve. Here I am trying to show the curve of the side of the mug. And note the other thing to notice, I think I'm flipping this upside down. It's easier to get at that part right side up. I apologize for the camera here. It kind of auto adjusts when I do that. The line and the edge between the bowl and the mug, where these two things overlap, in this instance, the mug is darker than the bowl. So I'm going to do more shading on the mug to make the bowl stand out and make the bowl look like it is in front of the mug. So I'm just going to kind of go in. Now I'm going to go in and start to layer a second layer of shadows over this. So you slowly start to kind of build up your shadows. You start with a medium layer, then you press darker, and then you press darker until gradually you're kind of just focusing on three levels: light, medium, dark. As you've learned in the lessons on value, there's actually a whole range of values that you can create. But this is a very kind of sketchy style. So now I'm going to kind of quickly do the negative space around the background. I'm going to add a little bit of this countertop in here. And I'm going to just kind of go in and do the negative space to make that bowl and mug stand out from the environment that they are, or the setting that they're in. There's a little bit of confusion like where the mug ends and the background begins. So I know that I need to spend a little bit more time shading around here, and also where the spoon ends and the background begins. But you're gonna also notice like my shading right now is still very choppy. It's not smooth. I like to lay all of my shadows down separately and then smooth them. So what I'm doing right now is I was using the side of my pencil. I'm actually going to now turn my pencil back upright, and I'm going to try to lay in a few of these nice crisp lines, these solid outlines. You do not need to outline your entire object. You can just kind of bring out important edges or edges where it's kind of confusing, which in this case, the edges that are confusing are kind of like where the mug versus the background is. So next, I think I'm going to get my trusty Q-tip out, and I'm going to start to use little tiny circular motions. When you're using a Q-tip, you're just kind of doing little wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off, little circular rotations. You can do this same technique with the little piece of paper towel that's twisted up, but the key is that you have a little bit more focus here than just using your finger. If you find that your drawing gets too smudgy, you can erase with an eraser. I always recommend having one of those separate. So now I'm going to kind of go in and I'm just trying to pull out dark, dark, dark shadows. So I've kind of only got like medium shadows and light shadows. I'm going to just now go in and lay in a few like super, super dark shadows. And also I'm noticing that this edge is not very symmetrical, so I'm going to just clean that edge up. I still don't think it's totally perfect, but for now, it's good enough for this quick sketch. If I had more time, I would probably go back and work on the symmetry, but sometimes it's better to just practice these drawings than just trying. You could spend hours making everything perfect. I'm more of like a quantity over quality and expression over realism. That's my kind of preferred style of drawing. You may be different. So again, I'm just going in now and trying to make dark, medium, and light. Noticing that the bowl actually has kind of two shades of white. Even the white here is more middle gray versus the white here, which is actually very bright white. Next, I'm going to go in and add more blueberries and really work on kind of getting a little bit more texture in there of the cereal. And I'm just now going to go in and press a little bit more on the inside of that mug. If I had more time, I probably would go in and refine the edge, that top edge of the rim. It's a little, looking at my drawing now, it's not very defined. Like there's actually more I could have done, but last but not least, I'm going to just add a few, like a nice fade. I like to fade my drawings out so they kind of have this like fade into the paper look to them. It's a personal preference, but again, everything is optional here. The goal when you're doing your breakfast drawing is really that you're focusing on first just capturing that overall shape. You're either going to be doing a bowl of cereal or you're going to be doing your bacon, egg, and cheese, but you want to try and get that curved shape, and then you want to try and show that curved shadow. Those are the two hardest things to do, but I hope that you're able to do it. If you have any questions, please reach out to me on Google Classroom. Have a great day, everybody. I hope you're safe and well.